Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and as promised, here is the top 10 Michael Myers figures in the collection countdown video. It's going to be a fun one for the Myers fans, horror fans, or just, figure fans in general. A lot of custom work to be seen in this video by some really talented artists all over the world, and I'll be mentioning them when their figure comes up, if it comes up. It's just a top 10. I got over 20 Michael Myers pieces on the shelf and scattered around the place. I just have to choose 10 for this particular video. So yeah, won't be including the life-size stuff. It just made it really difficult to put the list together because it just seemed like such an obvious number one, or possibly that one at number one, the life-size 78 over there, about as movie accurate as it gets. An absolute terrifying presence in the room. And this thing too, even though it's just a bust. Not complete yet, still waiting for the movie accurate coveralls to be delivered, but that is the Trick or Treat Studios mask that's been reworked by Mike in Germany. I did do a tiny little bit of work to it recently with a wet tea bag to give it some of that yellowy, orangey, rotting color in certain areas around the eye holes, around the nose, the neckline, the temples, the forehead. But it's just an absolutely incredible piece, but will not be featured in this top 10, nor the big guy over there. We're going to stick to figures, so I hope you enjoy this one, guys. Get yourself a beverage, something to chew on, and enjoy the top 10 Michael Myers figure countdown. At number 10, we got the NECA 7-inch Ultimate Michael Myers figure, which is probably going to be one of the only figures on this list you can actually just go right online now and buy. But it won't look exactly like this because I customized all my heads, repainted them all, and actually I have two of them. So I've been doing a fair bit of work on those. I'm using one of Glenn Page's dioramas here that he can make you for your NECA figures. Check out Cult Creations on Facebook, or just look up Glenn Page. That's the guy you go to. Super good value, really good guy. Can make you any diorama for any figure, and I do mean any figure. Doesn't matter if it's NECA or Hot Toys. You can do it all. But check out this figure, man. This is why it had to be in the top 10. Now this one I sculpted over the joints where the legs meet the kind of torso there, because it gave the appearance of like nappy lines or something, and I just didn't like it. The second figure I haven't done that to it. I just left it pretty much stock. I just repainted the heads, but I repainted the coveralls on this, repainted the head, repainted the hair, put some blood on the knife, and I think that's about all I did. But yeah, I've done a fair bit of work on these. But there's some of the other heads. The Christopher Nelson, heavily brutalized head is just behind the door there, and that is, I believe, the second Myers up to his usual tricks. Look at him, he just can't help himself. So there he is behind there. We'll get him out in a sec. But yeah, just an awesome figure. It's about, I guess, when it first came out, it was around £30. I guess about 40 something bucks in the US. Can't be sure about that, but definitely a reasonable price for what you can do with this guy and the amount of cool accessories you get with him. So just to be clear, pretty much everything you get here, you get with the figure. I've got two pumpkins because I've got two figures. You just get one pumpkin with the figure, and you get one spare head with the figure that has visible eyes, and the other one has blacked out eyes inside the mask, and the sort of cop severed head that will come with him as well. And two knives, or is it one knife? I forget. I think it's one knife. And the tombstone. So you get some stuff, but you'd have to go to Glenn Page to get yourself a diorama. Which, this was the prototype. This was a long time ago. He's actually done way better ones than this since then. He's got crazy skills, man. But anyway, here he is. Let's get a look. Let's get a look-see. Let's get him up in the hand. But yeah, look at that. That is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I do love my NECA Michael Myers figure, and they are making this guy in quarter scale. It's about 18 or 18 and a half to 19 inches of pure evil. Pure posable evil. It's going to be sweet. I can't wait to see the head sculpt in person for that one, because they did a really good job with the head sculpts for these little guys. Come here, you. Gotcha. Whoa. Don't fall over. There we go. Here is the other one, and great posability in the arms. You have like a double bend. Repainted this mask as well. They're all slightly different. That's the fun part about it. I really enjoyed repainting those. But there's the joints that I wanted to cover up with this one. So that's all done. not too bad. That side's better. It's more seamless. But yeah, that's that one. And there's this one. So when I did repaint this arm is a bit broken. It's not broken, it just looks broken. Just because of the position I got it in. But yeah, I repainted that a little bit, made it even more gory. And just fix your arm there, Myers. Fix your stuff. I think it's just his hands need turning around. Put him there. Kick his other mask out the way. Yeah, man. Awesome. Number 10. The ultimate Michael Myers figure from the 2018 film. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth picking up. No doubt about it. Highly recommend it. Got to be in the top 10. Alright. Moving on. At number 9, we have the H2 Zombie Nightmare. Now, this is based on the nightmare sequence from the beginning of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Definitely not one of the most popular Halloween movies out there, that's for sure. But I really do like some of the scenes in this film. There's also scenes that I can't stand. And maybe one day I'm going to try and do a re-edit of the movie, but I fear I'd only be left with about 20 to 25 minutes worth of footage. But there's a lot of Michael Myers stuff in the film that's really cool. And this look from the hospital scene, which was, very much a kind of a nod to the original Halloween 2, main location was the hospital in Haddonfield. And yeah, I got the axe, which I had to get off eBay and had to repaint the axe to make it look more like the one from the movie. I also have another head here, which is from the same, version of Michael Myers, but a much older One's Customs head sculpt. And a lot of people actually do prefer that one to this more recent one, but I go back and forth. I really do. And now that I got the hair on this one looking right, like he's been walking in the rain, when he's chasing Laurie through the car park of the hospital to that little hut where the security guy hangs out. Just got him looking really good. So he had to go in here in the top 10. It's just a very intimidating Myers. That's the thing, no matter how you feel about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies and how, they gave him a backstory and all that stuff. I mean, Tyler Mane as a Michael Myers, he was really, really intimidating, really good. Definitely, I've said it before, but if you ask me which Michael Myers out of all the movies I would least like to have hunting me down, it would be the Tyler Mane one, because you just can't put up a fight against him. He's just a 6'8" beast. Now here is the much older head. This is about 9 years old, maybe even getting close to 10 years old now, but it's a One's Customs head from Halloween 2. And just very, very... it's just a frightening head. It just looks way more scary at times than this one does, but in this particular lighting, that one's looking really good too. But it is, a classic original One's Customs head sculpt here. It is fantastic, but you can see more of that on the channel. That's been showcased and reviewed and all kinds of stuff. Great job with the Tyler Mane eyes inside the mask as well. But here is the more recent updated version by One's Customs. Absolutely incredible detail. And remember, he's just coming off the end of the 2007 Halloween film, so he was shot in the head. He's got a lot of damage to the mask, but not as much as he has later on. But I've used some kind of gloss on his hair just to kind of get it to stay in the position I want it to, like it's been wet from walking in the rain. The figure was put together for me by David Tucker at C Creations. You can find David Tucker on Facebook and Instagram, but he can put together full Michael Myers figures for you, and he really puts them together the way you want them. And great communication, great guy. So yeah, check out David Tucker. But the axe, like I said, I had to get that on eBay. The base, that was Joe Turner who put that decal together for me. But an awesome piece, and had to be in the top 10 because that hospital, the dream sequence, the nightmare sequence, it is definitely the best part of the film. After that, it tends to roll down the hills somewhat, but yeah, man, I'm glad to have it. Alright, so that was number 9, the H2 Zombie Nightmare, and that's what I'm calling him. That's his official title. So yeah, and rightly so, it's a beastly piece. Alright, moving on. At number 8, we have the custom Boo-Face Myers. This was the very first custom Michael Myers figure I ever owned, and it was a hell of a place to start. So I bought it off eBay. It was very expensive, but as far as I knew back then, I mean, I didn't know much when it came to the custom Michael Myers figure game, so I kind of just trusted it, but I don't regret anything about it. It was put together by various artists. It's a One's Customs head sculpt. It's a concept piece, because on one side it's just regular old 78 Mikey, then on the other side, I don't know if it's kind of acid burns or fire damage or rotting, some kind of zombie effect, whatever it is. I always tend to just think it was some kind of acid burn on his face, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. This is not the official 100% One's Customs Boo-Face figure, because the one that's completely done by One's Customs has no sleeve here. It's much more damaged, like the arm is completely just burnt and bloody and nasty, whereas this one was a little bit more toned back as far as that damage went, but as you can see, he's still really damaged. But I really do, I'm not just saying this because this is the one I have, I'd love to have both, trust me, but this one, I kind of like the damage on this one. I like the fact that he still has his sleeve. I gave him the 3-0 knife that came with their figure from Halloween 6. That's the bloody one. I might have added a little bit more blood effect to that one. So yeah, One's Customs head sculpt. Coveralls by David Tucker again at C Creations. Brett Little did the weathering apparently. And the base was again by Joe Turner. And I did that blood spray effect with some red paint and a toothbrush. Just flicking the bristles gets a really nice fine blood spray effect. I think that's what I did with the knife too. But yeah, beautiful weathering here by Brett Little. All kinds of nasty damages, scratches, and just the blood on this hand, the damage to his leg there. Again, like with all of these top 10s, if you like what you see, bear in mind that there are full extensive videos already on the channel covering each figure. This is just a brief look during this top 10, so you can see the figure, the place it's currently holding in the top 10 countdown of death. Look at that thing, the Boo. Just give you a look at the detail on his burnt side. You can see bone, teeth, how the ear is kind of, his human ear has kind of become one with the mulchy mess that used to be the, you know, the mask and the flesh have become one. It's truly evil. It's just nasty. And when the light catches that eye is actually has a red pupil, or black and red, and when the light catches it just right, it is very creepy when you first notice that. The hair is really good on this one, and like I said, the weathering and the coveralls, as you can see. I love the color of these coveralls. David Tucker went with that kind of spruce green, just really nice. But check out the weathering on this. This is incredible. Look at that hand. Look at the sleeve. There's some serious storytelling going on with this thing, man. Like, how did his sleeve get that messed up? What happened here? Did he get shot? Did he get attacked by something else? Maybe he had himself a little fight with Jason Voorhees. You guys see that fan-made Jason versus Michael video that went up recently? I think it was made in Australia. But yeah, worth checking out. I'm sure you'd be able to find it if you look on YouTube if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, man, the detail on this thing is incredible. Look at that. Look at that. It's nasty, man. It really is. But just the work. Don't know how many of these head sculpts exist. Probably, I don't know, maybe under 20, maybe 20. Could be possibly slightly more than that. I don't know, man. Considering the detail here, I don't know how many are going to be out there, but I sure am glad I got one when I did. Alright. Hard to stop filming this one. Just want to keep filming it. But there he is. The Boo-Face Myers. My first custom Michael Myers figure in the collection. A special piece. At number 7, we have the Hobo Myers, and a massive shout out to Graham Atkinson in Dublin for approaching me with the idea of doing a part swap, part buy deal in order for me to get this from him. He was selling it on Facebook, and I did see that, and I thought to myself, damn it, I can't do it right now. But then a couple of days later, Graham actually sent me a message suggesting we do a part swap, part buy, and that made it way more achievable for me to actually get my hands on this. So massive shout out to Graham for being cool and thinking of me in the first place. That is really awesome. Thank you so much, dude. And I love this piece. Again, not the most popular film, and to some people definitely not the most popular look, but it changed things up a little bit and still kept him intimidating, and it seemed realistic. I mean, if he's going to be walking around for the rest of the year in between Halloweens, it can get pretty cold. So I guess he gathered these items of clothing from various people that he just kind of took out. Kind of harsh as that sounds, but there's a couple of little things I need to do to this. I just maybe need to dye his little sleeping rolled up sleeping bag thingy there, or his sleeping mat. I think it should be more of a green color, kind of slightly more like the color of his hood there. But yeah, anything like that needs fixing, I might do that over time. But I'll tell you, I'm really happy with this just as it is. I know that there are more updated versions of this custom figure going these days. It's taller and just generally more bulky. Slightly different color, army kind of sleeveless top there, but I don't know, depending on the pictures you look at. If you go on Tyler Main's Instagram account, there's a lot of reference pictures, and in a lot of them I kind of see this more green and army camo kind of pattern, and then when it's a bit more soaked in blood, it looks a bit more kind of brownish red, deep red brown hints. I don't know, you'd have to check the pictures out for yourself, but I am more than happy with how this guy looks. Let's get a close-up look at the detail on the piece. Again, this is a One's Custom / David Tucker at Sea Creations effort here. One's Customs came again with an incredible head sculpt, and David Tucker put all the clothes and the body together and all the details that you're seeing here. So awesome work again, guys. So starting at his base, this is an old One's Customs base. It's even signed by him underneath. That was from an old figure that I got a while ago, but I'm using it with this hobo because it actually has the proper Halloween 2 decal or stickers, whatever it is, on the base there. Great boots, really good coveralls underneath here by David Tucker. I really like these ones. I have taken off all these layers because I did intend to do a body swap, but the body I was going to use was just too big for this setup. So the clothes didn't fit it. It was just massive. It was like one of those basketball bodies that I've used in the past. But this one is actually on a Hot Toys Bane body, I think. And again, that is something that has been updated in the more recent times by David Tucker at Sea Creations. And you can see there the One's Customs Hobo sculpt. This is definitely one of his best. Half of the mask has been ripped away, revealing Tyler Main's face, and his beard is coming out underneath the mask. All the layers of clothing here. This is really accurate. You got that kind of reddish checkered shirt, or flannel shirt, whatever you want to call it. All the layers, all the details, just amazing. Look at the shirt, man. And then the coveralls underneath, they're kind of bloody and nasty. Just incredible stuff. But this head sculpt, I mean, I got the hood up because that's kind of the way I've always imagined rocking the Hobo Myers here. But look at that, that's so scary. I would love to eventually get the actual hobo, just the head sculpt where he's not wearing the mask. Really do want that one day. And also this head sculpt where the mask isn't torn off yet, but it's this kind of color, this kind of like the Revolver magazine cover that they had, where it's more of a rotted yellowy kind of color. This is, apart from the ripped away section, the Nightmare Rob Zombie Halloween Part 2 Hospital Dream sequence head you saw a little while ago, it looks very similar to this, but it's more of a kind of whitish blue, whereas this is more of a kind of yellowy, kind of just nasty color, and very accurate to the film. And the knife here as well, absolutely awesome work on that. So he had to be in the top 10, no doubt about it. And again, massive shout out to Graham Atkinson for approaching me and making this possible. Absolutely awesome piece. Alright, so that was the Hobo Myers at number 7. Moving on. At number 6, we have the Mad Bug version 1, The Shape. Now, this is a really nice piece. The sculpt I bought from Chino, the chap who rehairs a lot of my Myers figures. He's just amazing when it comes to, well, not just hairing these heads, but just painting them and he's recently been doing some incredible stuff. Like he bashed out like the most accurate H2, Dick Warlock 1/6 scale custom Myers figure I've seen. It is really, really incredible. So he sold me the head sculpt. It's the Mad Bug version 1, and I believe it was painted by Chino. I think it was. It's a great paint job, and obviously he haired it and did an amazing job with that. The coveralls are from Tanila's Customs. Now, these are really special because there are barely any of these in existence. She only made, I think it was like 3 of these. She might correct me on that, but there was literally like under 5. So I was really lucky to get these. There's a cool story to them, but I have been sworn to secrecy. Someone really cool owns these, and I'm one of the few people that owns them as well, and it's just awesome. But this, the body it's on, I think it's some kind of Hot Toys True Type, quite an old body, but just works really well. All the proportions on this guy just work really nicely. The knife was by Dave at Tanila's Customs as well, so an awesome job on the knife there. I did add a little bit of blood that you can see on the knife. Jungle boots, custom decal on the base, John Carpenter's Halloween, The Shape. Actually, that's what I should call this one. I wasn't sure what to actually name him. I never have been, because there's got so many different versions of the 78 Myers and the 2018 Myers and stuff. I always try to give them some kind of individual name so I can tell them apart, and you guys can get used to which one is which. But yeah, so I guess we'll go with The Shape for this one. But just an awesome piece. And I really like this pose for him as well. Haven't really changed much since the last video. Love the color of these coveralls though. Color is absolutely awesome. This particular sculpt, the Mad Bug version 1, always reminds me of the moment where Laurie goes upstairs when she thinks she's killed him, and she goes to the kids and tells them to go get help, and they say, you can't kill the boogeyman. He comes up the stairs and he's standing there in this kind of position, holding the knife like that, and the mask, the shape of it, the sculpt, it just reminds me of that moment. And I was saying to Chino, because he's painting that, a picture of that at the moment, like a big painting, from that scene in the film. It looks really good, and I said to him that's my favorite moment from the movie, and it's his too, and I'm sure many others as well, where Michael's standing there, when they first spot him come up the stairs and the drapes are behind him. Just awesome. But there he is at number 6, The Shape. At number 5, we have the pretty long-winded titled Dean Knight exclusive Blackest Eyes 78 Myers. I don't know. The Dean Knight exclusive part is because these coveralls were made from a material that I found that was incredibly close in color and texture to the 1978 coveralls, the Big Macs. So I found the material, got in touch with Tanila from Tanila's Customs and said, if I send you this material, would you be able to make some 1/6 scale 78 coveralls for me? And she was more than happy to do it. Did a great job, and I've put it together with the One's Customs Blackest Eyes version 2 head sculpt that I believe to be one of One's very best sculpts, and it's kind of legendary now. A lot of people after this one, and those that own it tend to love it. And I managed to get mine, I think, on Facebook, and really had to really had to work on that private message session to try and secure this thing for myself. And massive respect to the guy who sold it to me. He was really cool, and as you can see, it's absolutely awesome. Now, I did send the Blackest Eyes sculpt here to be rehaired by Chino in America, so he done that, and this is with the new hair now. I just today got some kind of like a brown kind of dye spray intended for hair, and I used it on the hair on this sculpt just to make it a little bit more brown. It was kind of like a blondish brown, and I know that may be accurate, but in the movie they kind of sprayed it with, like some say black, but I just wanted it to be a little bit darker brown when it came to the color of the hair, so I did that today, and it's had a really, really great effect. And I'll give you a closer look at that now, but this piece just had to be in the top 10. This is one hell of a custom 1978 Myers figure, and even more special because of the extremely limited run of the Dean Knight exclusive coveralls. I've got one, I've got another one, and there's only one other person in the world who owns them. So there was only 3 ever made, and I got 2 of them, and I won't give his name in case he doesn't want to be mentioned, but there's just one other chap out there, and I'd love to see how his are displayed, so maybe he can get in touch if he feels like it. But really, really cool to have something this exclusive. So here it is, the Blackest Eyes version 2, rehaired by Chino. And just zoom in a little bit. I love the sculpt. I absolutely love it. I call it the Great White sometimes because it just reminds me of a great white shark. I think it's the flaring out of the neck creates that kind of, when you get that hair in the kind of shape that it was in some of the scenes, it's almost got that kind of 50s greaser, kind of like more volume in the middle and it gets tight around the sides. That shape with the flared out neck creates that kind of great white shark. It's just probably just me, but that's what I like to call it sometimes, the Great White. There it is. Chino did an awesome job with the hair. One's Customs did an awesome job with the paintwork and the sculpt itself. You can see where I've sprayed some kind of dark brown on the hair just to kind of darken the tone a little bit. We've got a bright light shining right down on him here, so it actually is darker in person. But really, really great sculpt and paintwork on this. And the color of the coveralls is that kind of charcoal gray. So all in all, with all the versions that I have charcoal grey coveralls, navy blue coveralls, spruce green coveralls, and pretty much everything in between. So depending on what mood you're in, I got the coveralls. Jungle boots, of course, movie accurate from toe to head. Got to give a shout out to James Hodds on Facebook. He's the one who made this particular kitchen knife, and he was really cool, man. He got in touch and did a few reviews for him on his weapons. He did a big meat cleaver, a machete, and a bunch of Michael Myers kitchen knives. Really, really cool guy. I haven't heard much from him these days, but he is also the guy I got that awesome fake blood that I used for the base on the Batman that became the Joker figure up there. But yeah, great job on the knife, James. Awesome work on that. Now, I can't be sure exactly which body I used, but everything proportion-wise is really good on this guy. I still need to go in and actually add the little hole in his elbow for the Dean Knight exclusive coveralls here. Or did I actually do that already? I don't think I have. But yeah, Tanila did a fantastic job. I mean, you can see it's just 1978 all over again, baby. Absolute masterpiece. Well, there he is, the Dean Knight exclusive coveralls with the Blackest Eyes version 2 rehaired by Chino with a knife by James Hodds. An absolutely awesome piece right there. That's on the channel already if you want to see more of it. This is just a little peek. Number 4, we have my 2007 Michael Myers from Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie, and Michael Myers played by Tyler Mane. This particular version is a very tall figure. It's using a basketball body. It's about 13 inches tall, and the coveralls were made by Tanila's Customs. This kitchen knife was made by Dave at Tanila's Customs, and required a fair bit of weathering, which I did myself in order to get it to be the color that you're seeing before you now. And the head sculpt again is by the Mighty Ones Customs. The diorama that he's standing on is the one I like to pair him up with. It just seems to work with him. And that was an amazing birthday gift from Stephen Maurice on Facebook, and I believe he's on Instagram as well. Check out his amazing work. Really, really nice. And well, actually that was Nick's idea to get Stephen Maurice to build that for me, so shout out to Nick and Steve Murray's. Alright, let's take a close look at this absolute beast. So I've said it before, but this was the version of Michael Myers that actually got me into the whole thing, and I was always aware of the character of Michael Myers, one of the legendary horror icons. Always aware of the fact that the 1978 film was indeed a classic, as it truly is. But it wasn't until 2007 or maybe early 2008 when I saw this film with my buddy Phil, and we had a great time watching it. And it was, I just needed to own something, so I went looking. I found the NECA figure, the 7-inch and then the quarter scale version, which I have both of those over there. And I always dreamed of owning a custom 1/6 scale version, especially when I found out they actually existed, and One's Customs and people like David Tucker were actually producing these. They seemed so out of reach for so many years. It was a long time dreaming of owning one of these. Gradually, I started to gather together the parts to make this possible, and he's worked out better than I ever would have dreamed. The big tall basketball body I used, like 13 inches tall. The Master One's Customs made the head sculpt, and very accurate one it is indeed to 2007 Tyler Mane Myers. And the coveralls are pretty much perfect. They are by Tenila at Tenila's Customs. The knife is by Dave at Tenila's Customs. However, they required a fair amount of weathering and repainting to get them to look the color they are here. You go back and watch the original review when I first got the coveralls. I'll show you a before and after, and just the process of weathering them and getting them looking like this. I actually managed to get them looking really close to the color from the movie. I don't know if the phone here is making them look slightly lighter than they really are, but they look really good in person. Incredible sculpt by One. Great hair on this. Just amazing paintwork. The eyes are inside the mask. Very intimidating looking. I love the corduroy collar that they use in those particular films. I mean, it's not my favorite coveralls, of course. I mean, I love the 78s and then the 2018, but I love the Tyler Mane look too. It's pretty different. Look how shiny that blade is. Stainless steel and wood by Dave, Tenila's Customs. And another shout out to Graham Atkinson. That's actually the base he gave me with the Hobo Myers, but I like to use it with this guy a little bit more. Reminds me of the scene where he digs his knife out of those floorboards. But yeah, I won't go on about it too much with this one. I've already covered this extensively on the channel, just like all the other ones you've seen so far. If you want to see more of this, believe me, it's on the channel. You just got to go back a few videos and check it out for yourself. But this is just an awesome piece. Alright, so there he is at number 4. The 2007 Tyler Mane Michael Myers by One's Customs, Tenila's Customs, with weathering by me. At number 3, we have the 1/6 scale custom 2018 Michael Myers figure. Now this is comprised of a few different parts. He is he's awesome. He has the movie accurate pumpkin, that's by John Pearson on Facebook. The hammer by David Tucker. The hand with the fingers blown off by David Tucker. The bell chain there that he uses to strangle Roy, that's by Tenila's Customs. The knife is by Dave at Tenila's Customs. The coverall are by Tenila at Tenila's Customs. The head sculpt is by Legio 7 Workshop on Facebook. I repainted the mask and sent the head off to be rehaired by Chino in the USA. I'm using the JX Toys SO2 body. And he also comes with, he doesn't come with this. This is all stuff that I've had to accumulate from different sources. But again, from Chino in America, he sent along a retooled Mad Bug version 1 that just for fun, he had a go at turning that into the 2018 mask. And I've been using that on and off for a while. This is the look I've kind of settled on for this guy, but he was always going to be high up in the top 10. Just an amazing piece, and I'm so glad to finally have him completed. There is one more little thing coming any day now that's going to go with this guy, and I'll review that and show it to you as soon as it turns up. But it will just complete the whole deal. I actually really like the 2018 film. I'd say, I like the original 78 film the best, then the 2018 film, and then probably 2007 film by Rob Zombie. Sue me. I don't care. I like it. So there's still some Halloween films I haven't seen yet. So I need to watch Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 5. I've seen some of Part 6, but not all of it. But, you know, I avoid the ones that I've heard bad things about, but I've also heard good things. You know, it's mostly the mask that puts me off with Halloween 4 and 5, I think. Some of the masks look really funky. You know, in order for it to work for me, the mask has to look scary and has to hark back to that original, you know, just emotionless face from '78. They did such a good job. Christopher Nelson's the guy who made the mask for the 2018 film, and he absolutely just nailed it. Perfect combination of the original mask and just aged horror. Absolute thing of horrific beauty. So there's John Pearson's pumpkin. That's I think her name was Vicky. Her boyfriend brings that round. Her boyfriend is played by Susan Sarandon's son, which is something I only found out the last time I watched it, and now that I've found that out, you can really see the resemblance. And there's the bell chain by Tanila's Customs. Incredible hammer here by David Tucker with some really gory effects on it. You can check that out on the channel and see it in much more detail, but really impressive stuff. And that is metal and wood. And the hand that David Tucker supplied as well, with the blown off fingers, very detailed, grubby nails. Look at the dirt in there, and just, you know, I like to swap that out from time to time. And the reworked Mad Bug version 1 by Chino. Plenty of videos already on the channel with that head sculpt on the body with different poses. Well worth checking out. Really movie accurate boots. The right kind of chunky style with the right kind of texture, the right kind of tread. A simple Michael Myers base for now. I'm still trying to decide what kind of what I want him to be standing on. Amazing coveralls, really good. And there's the Legio 7 sculpt, rehaired by Chino, painted by me. This one changes in the light really drastically when you mess around with it. But when I posted, after I repainted the mask, I posted it on Instagram, and Christopher Nelson himself, the guy who made the mask from the movie, actually commented and said, cool, and liked the image. So it's kind of like a little seal of approval there. Very cool. Very awesome. But great proportions on this guy. Great work on the knife by Dave at Tanila's Customs. I really like that. And you notice he's got the proper hand that you'd always going to want with Michael Myers holding that kitchen knife. Notice where the thumb position is. That is quite a hard hand to track down, but I'm glad I managed to get one for this. I also did some weathering on the coveralls. Not much, but you can see on the sleeve there's a bit of weathering, and in certain other places. Great job on the hair by Chino. Now, the hair from 2018 is, as we know, if we look at the mask over there, it's very distinct, kind of hard to describe. It's just really nasty and scraggly, but this is very close to that, so I really like it. And a great sculpt again, great wrinkles, the detail in it. He really looks like the picture there where they, you know, before the film came out, when he was standing in the closet doorway. That's how he looks right there. Great sculpt, absolutely fantastic. So again, I won't go on about this too much because he's on the channel already in multiple videos, so you can go ahead and check those out if you're interested. The full review and all that stuff. There he is at number 3, the 1/6 scale custom 2018 James Jude Courtney Michael Myers figure. At number 2, we have the Perfect 78, and that's exactly what this is. Combination of parts coming together to make one of the most accurate 1/6 scale 1978 Nick Castle Michael Myers figures on planet Earth, on which we all dwell. You got the Mad Bug version 2 Nick Castle stretch sculpt that has been haired and painted by Silent Surfer. Now, the hair on this is pretty good, but with my recent experiences with Chino, it's probably going to have to get rehaired at some point. It's got a bit of a weird fluffy thing to it, and when I try to mess with it, it can be a little bit unruly. I mean, I got it looking good here, and I guess it is nice to have different sculpts with different hair types. I don't want them all to have the same kind of hair. Not that Chino uses the same kind of hair. The 2018 sculpt has different hair to the 78s. But I don't know. I think I might have to send this particular sculpt off at some point, possibly to get rehaired, because it's never quite satisfied me. However, the paintwork does. The paintwork on this is incredible. The sculpt is amazing. This sculpt is based on, I believe, the way Nick Castle's chin would dig in. It wouldn't really sit in the right position the way the mask chin is. His chin would kind of dig in behind it and kind of stretch the mask, kind of elongate it a little bit, and just, you know, create more of a weird pursed lip kind of look. He's on a Bruce Banner Hot Toys body. The coveralls are Yunso coveralls that I dyed blue, and that dye did fade away and leave behind just rather a kind of a subtle hint of blue in the charcoal grey coveralls. And as you can see, it's very accurate in color. So I'm using the DX11 Heath Ledger Joker hands by Hot Toys because they are incredibly realistic. They have that kind of dirty, grimy look to the fingernails, and I just had the idea one day to use them. And all my Michael Myers figures are usually holding a weapon. This one, he's just standing there. However, at his feet on the base that I put together myself, there is a Fergo 78 knife, which is pretty much the best knife you can get. Got more of those on the way, so I'm just waiting for them to arrive. It would have been nice if they all had arrived before I shot this top 10, but I guess that's just another excuse to bring you some more Myers action in the near coming days. Got a tombstone that was hooked up by Michael Cortez on Facebook. The Beto Metalli original pumpkin, very hard to get hold of these days. Again, hooked up by Michael Cortez on Facebook. Jungle Boots by Hot Toys. Everything is just the way it should be. Massive shout out to Magatron, his Darth Magnus, the guy who you know, shared the information back when we needed it most. He is the one who made the video where I saw this sculpt. He had the phone held up to his head, like in the scene where he just strangles the lady. And wow, I thought that's the sculpt I need. So I went off down the path of trying to pick one up. It was a long, hard road, a lot of waiting, but it was definitely worth it in the end. Absolutely incredible. I'll give you a side profile on him. Just the height, the proportions, everything about him really is just, there's nothing about it that I look at and it bugs me and think, damn, I need to fix that. It's nice to have one that is just basically perfect. Incredible. I mean, you can see the color of the coveralls. It's not like dark navy blue or even flat out blue. It's still the charcoal grey, but because of the dye job that I did and how it's kind of just faded a little bit over time, it's just left behind a hint of blue, which is just what you want. And again, those DX11 Joker hands, incredibly detailed and realistic. Really cool. Let's just come around here and you can see the vein action, the knuckles, the thumbnail, and just all the detail of those. The knife here by Fergo. Got a big 1/4 scale one of these on the way. I mean, look at this. I don't know how he does it, and you wouldn't believe some of the stuff he's made. He makes just everything. I mean, he did the Tomb Raider, the recent Tomb Raider games, that kind of pickaxe thing she uses to climb up walls. He made that. It looks real. He made the blade weaponry from the Wesley Snipes Blade films, and God of War weapons. Just, you wouldn't believe the stuff he's doing, man. Fergo, if you're watching, man, full respect to you. I know there's plenty of people out there who do stuff like that, but I gotta be honest, man, nobody does it like Fergo. Keep an eye out for the review coming up on the channel very soon. Getting quite a few pieces from him in one go. They're going to be here any day now, and going to be worth checking out, guys. Well, there it is. I call it the perfect 78 at number 2. At number 1, the big 78, and that is probably no surprise to a lot of you, but gotta do it, man. Gotta put him at number 1. This is an extremely rare piece. There's a few of them out there, but most folks who own this actually don't like to show it. I'm one of the few people who own one of these who, is posting pictures and making videos and putting them out there for the world to see. And I understand if people, don't want to share their stuff, they keep it private, but I don't know, man. Something as incredible as this needs to be seen. So I got you. I'm showing you the goods. Here he is at number 1. Incredible, incredible figure. Absolutely one of my very favorite pieces in the entire collection. You got the head sculpt by One's Customs. He's pretty much made all these head sculpts that you're looking at tonight, just bar a few of them. But One's Customs does it again, this time with a quarter scale head sculpt based on the 1978 Michael Myers. Now, I did send this head off to get rehaired, like I did with a few of my other ones, and Chino did an amazing job. You'll get a closer look at that in a minute. The body is a Cool Models 1/4 scale fully posable body. Great articulation, double bend in the elbow. You can do whatever you want with this. The t-shirt, the coveralls were made by Tanila at Tanila's Customs. The knife was made by Dave at Tanila's Customs also. The boots I had to make myself out of super sculpted clay because you just can't find jungle boots in 1/4 scale, or any boots that kind of even resemble jungle boots, to be honest. I have looked. One day I'm sure they'll come along, and then I'll handle that when it comes up, but for now I had to make them myself. There is a 1/4 scale 78 pumpkin by John Pearson on Facebook, and some decorations in the background, just various versions of the movie, a classic movie poster there. But I absolutely love this piece, and I had to put it at number 1. It would have been tricky if I had have included the life size in the background there, or the life-size bust from 2018. You can see where I've had to take the picture off the wall there, just trying to make it look interesting. But yeah, it would have been really tricky to decide who goes at number 1 if I had included the life-size stuff as well. I think this guy might still have come out on top. I mean, I wouldn't be without this. I wouldn't really want to be without the life-size either, but I don't know, there's something about this piece, knowing how rare it is. You know, One only made so many of these head sculpts, and Tanila only made so many sets of these coveralls, and she's busy, so I don't know if you'd see him again. But there it is, guys. There's way more in-depth looks at this on the channel already, so you can check that out. Let me give you a quick close-up. Just an amazing head sculpt by One's Customs, painted to perfection with that proper fish belly blue color to it. The eyes inside the mask, nice and deep. Great job on the rehair by Chino again. An awesome knife by Dave at Tanila's Customs, and Tanila herself outdid herself with these coveralls and the t-shirt. Did a little bit of weathering on his hands just to make them look a bit more real. And there is the pumpkin by John Pearson on Facebook. That brings us to the end of this Michael Myers Top 10 figure countdown. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have enjoyed putting it together for you, and I've enjoyed making all these top 10s. Thank you for all your support and ideas. I have paid attention, so you'll be getting a possible 5th, I think it's maybe the 5th one. That'll be a top 10 female figure countdown coming up soon, and plus a few other little requests from you guys that I have paid attention to, and you'll be getting those videos soon as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and let me know if you liked the video in the comments section. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, check me out on Instagram at DeanKnight333 and Facebook, and you can always support the channel on Patreon if you wish. It kind of makes you a producer on the channel. You get a much bigger say on what goes out content wise. So yeah, guys, click on the link underneath the video if you wish to do that. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you real soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.